The following is a presentation of Learfield IMG College. Live from the Rutgers Club, this is the Rutgers Football Show. Your all-access pass to the Scarlet Knights is coming your way on the Rutgers Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Tonight's show is brought to you by To be a part of the show, give us a call at 1-877-384-1869. That's 877-384-1869. Here's your host, Chris Carlin.
All right, welcome inside the Rutgers Club on the Livingston campus. In for Chris Carlin, I am Jerry Recco with the head coach of the Rutgers football team, Nunzio Campanile. Coach, how are you?
I'm great, Jerry. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing good. And obviously, we'll do some review. We'll do some preview as we go through the hour. We'll have some special guests in here as well. And, I guess first and foremost, we start with this past weekend and the events of this weekend. And, some positives from the game for sure. Results not there. You've reviewed it. You've talked to the media. You've talked to the players. Where you at? What'd you like? What'd you dislike?
Well, to be honest, I thought that we did a lot of good things on defense. I know the score doesn't entirely look like it, but we gave up an offensive touchdown, and then on top of it, we gave a couple big plays, but then we kind of settled in there for a while, and, for half of the first quarter and the whole second quarter, those guys continued fighting. We had a great fourth down stop down on right in the red zone there at the end of the half to kind of keep us in the game. And, I thought that, the thing I was most proud of was that they continued to play really hard. The guys played hard throughout the game. I thought in special teams, Adam Korsak has just been absolutely phenomenal. He continues to put the other team, their back against the wall almost the entire game, no matter where we kick it from. He's really a special and unique talent. And then and that whole unit, they take tremendous pride in. And I think right now they're the number one ranked punt team in the Big Ten, which is something special. And then hopefully we'll be punting a little less. But and offensively, I think that I think our guys are playing hard. We got a lot of young guys. They're going through transition, some scheme transition. Some of it is just gaining experience. We're playing a quarterback that really got very minimal reps up until about 10 days ago. So I think he'll continue to get better every week. We struggled with some pass protection things last week that really kept us behind the sticks. One of the things that we emphasized the whole week was staying on schedule, being successful on first and second down, so we weren't in third and long. And it was the total opposite of that. And because we were so far behind the sticks, there were a lot of plays where we were like, all right, well, we don't want to turn the ball over. We want to put a young guy, a freshman, in a situation where, they're heating him up and he's turning the football over. So, but in the end, at some point we got to make some plays. We tried to take a couple shots and we gave up sacks on all three of them, one for a touchdown. So, there's a point where you're kind of like, all right, we're trying to just regroup and run the football, but obviously we didn't do that effectively enough either.
It's funny because we're in such a video game type of era now, and, we watch the games. We've got high definition. We've got instant replay. We can watch 7 games at one time if we want. And it's almost as if we all think that we can step on the field, drop back and throw the ball, and somebody's going to be open. And, it's not that easy. And it's until I started watching game film probably 6-7 years ago with my previous job where you actually see the intricacies of what the heck is going on in the secondary and what the quarterback's looking at and how hard it is and how fast the game's going. And then you throw into the mix the quarterback situation and a kid that's really not done it very long and the expectations of him. How, A, frustrating is it for coaching staff, but B, the player himself to not be where he wants to be, kind of thrust into a situation that, let's be honest, you're not playing, Division III schools and you're not on the road in front of no fans. This is a difficult situation for a kid that's trying to gain experience on the fly.
He's definitely learning with live bullets. But, one thing is he is a very confident, very competitive guy. He has had a great attitude about it. And honestly, the statistics, that's not just him, that's the entire unit, including the coach. So, that's one of the first things. And, as a coach, I look at it like, all right, every rep we take is about building towards the future. No matter where we end up in 6 weeks, it is important to me that every one of our players gets a little bit better and that they're in a position that in the future, they're better football players for what they're going through right now. We got a lot of young guys getting reps that, maybe wouldn't normally get them in these situations. But I think they're invaluable. And so the biggest thing is to kind of stay positive and keep working because, even if you're down 35-0 in the game, which, hopefully that won't happen again, but, the truth is if you're in that situation, it's an incredible opportunity to practice, to grow, to get better. It's hard to have that perspective when you're 19, 20, 21. But, I have been on both ends of it in my coaching career. I've been in a lot of games where, you're on the good end of that. But, the times where I have been on the downside of it, it's still always about an opportunity to get better because it's about building ourselves for the future. And, I think that we have a lot of guys that we can build a program on. We have a lot of guys that can develop into really good players, and some of them, like I said, they're learning on the fly. So as that happens, it's great experience for them. And, if we want it to pay off, whether it's in 3 weeks or in 2 years or whatever it is for some of those players, these reps are valuable. And, I think that, they're going to practice trying to get better every day. I see some of the scheme change. They're getting more comfortable with it every day. Each week they're seeing that, all right, the concepts are, consistent so they can understand them. And, that you're seeing the results in practice. Obviously, we did not see it in the game on Saturday.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about, too, the effort in practice. And I watched your press conference the other day. It seems like the kids are working. They're into it. How hard is it as a coaching staff to make sure if the results aren't there, and they're not yet, that you continue to get that effort and that they continue to build towards something? And how difficult is it to make sure that they stay engaged in that?
Honestly, the quality and the character of the guys that we have on the team, it has not been that hard to get them to stay motivated. Sunday, I talked to them about, hey, look, we still have the opportunity to go out and play football 6 times. We have an opportunity to go out and compete together as a team, and if you love your team, you're going to go out and play really hard for them. And, I think they're totally bought into that idea. When we went to practice on Sunday, that kind of heals a lot of things. Guys all of a sudden feel pretty good about, hey, we get an opportunity to go play football and get better. And, I think they're still trying to do that. And, they're keeping faith in each other, and, they understand, they want to win more than anybody. Mm-hmm. So, they're the ones doing all the work. If you were in the weight room with them at 6 a.m., you'd be like, holy cow, these guys are working. So it's not like, they're not out there trying to get better. And, so their attitude's been phenomenal. Their commitment to getting better in practice has been great. We're maybe not there at a couple positions, and, at a couple times maybe we've been a little overmatched, but, some people may look at the score and say, oh, those guys aren't trying hard. I don't think that's accurate at all. I'd be happy to sit and watch game film with every one of them and say, yeah, all right, you try and block that.
I do wish that was available. I know just from, again, my past experience, when you would watch film of a bad game and you would still see the effort, you're like, God, they're still working so hard. The result ain't there, but it looks a lot better than it actually is, and I certainly understand that. One thing before we take a call, you mentioned the offensive line, and you had a few dropbacks, and you're trying to get the ball down the field. That takes time, too. I don't know. How do you fix that on the fly to where you can move the ball down the field? And, as you pointed out the other day, you've got 4, 5, 6 completions for a yard. It makes no sense. And the few times you wanted to push it, you couldn't.
Yeah, we tried to take a shot on the first play of the game. And, we kind of knew exactly what we were going to get, the look that was coming, and it showed up exactly the way it was. And, honestly, we just didn't execute the play. We just got beat. And, but it turns into it couldn't start the game as more of a disaster.
Right.
And honestly, pass protection is a team thing. It's not just the O-line. It is the running backs, the tight ends, and the quarterback getting it all wired together to make sure that we're blocking the right people. So a couple of the sacks in the game were not on the O-line, which in fairness to them. So, that's us getting us put in a position where, we get it wired to block the right people, and then, everybody has to execute the backs, the tight ends, and all that. So, that's definitely part of it. So is it frustrating? Of course it's frustrating. But, we got a phenomenal O-line coach. He does a great job. Those kids are working really hard, and, they're just doing everything they can to get better. They're possibly the hardest working unit on the team. So, those are guys that you at least feel really good about the way they work every day. And, if somebody's beating them, they're probably beating them because they're better than them, not because they're not working or not prepared. They're really a great unit. They're really easy to be around.
All right, we got a lot to do. The phone number to get in is 877-384-1869. You can tweet us at Rutgers Radio on Twitter. We'll take a quick call before we take a break, and that will be Jerry in Miami, Florida. What's up, Jer?
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I just want to talk about 2 points. My first point is going to be the word swagger. Has you brought that around the team lately, or since you've been nominated head coach? And, as you say, football is football. and the most successful teams play with a little swagger, a little confidence. But just want to know if that word has been brought up a little bit. And then just kind of talk about, going forward with the offense, and just kind of talk about the difference of memorizing a playbook rather than understanding concepts. I know Johnny probably has a little bit more experience because he's ran your system, but just talk about a little bit the difference between memorizing a play and then understanding concepts going forward.
Well, the first point I think is really valid. I mean, obviously, playing with confidence is critical to going out and playing well. If you don't feel really good about your performance, if you don't feel really good about the way that the matchups and all that, it is critical to any athlete's success, or really anybody in life. I mean, if you feel good about your preparation, you feel like, hey, I'm ready to compete at this level, you'll play with confidence. So whether you use the word swagger or use the word confidence, I do think it is critical, and it is something that we talk about. I've always said there's only two ways to get true confidence. It's hard work and accomplishment. And if you haven't done it yet, if you haven't accomplished it yet, then all you have to rely on is your hard work. And that's one of the big things is we don't have a lot of guys that, in my opinion, that feel like they've done it yet. They don't have a lot of guys that are playing with that level of confidence, and that might make you a step slow. It might make your decisions, just a fraction off. And if you are with the competition we're playing, you're going to pay. And as far as memorizing a playbook opposed to understanding concepts, I think it's really critical. And most college teams, I think, are basically concept-based because of the time limitations that you have with your players. And so one of the things that we've done is, we've really tried to base it in, all right, these are the pass concepts, these are the run schemes, and, you could dress it up a bunch of different ways, but the rules stay the same. And if they can apply the rules, then, when it gets introduced on Tuesday, they start to say, all right, well, that's the same as we've been doing it. And you start to see that the last couple of weeks. I think if you memorize, you get a lot of mistakes. And, so we're trying to get away from that and basically be rooted in understanding concepts. And then, even for Johnny, well, the concepts are similar. They're basically identical to what they were, for him in high school. The terminology is different. So learning to apply all of that the same is really critical to all of their development. And I think that, hopefully that pays dividends for us in the next couple of weeks, that that the same as teaching starts to pay off, that they feel comfortable. And hey, when this concept is applied, no matter what the formation or personnel.
Jerry, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. And I imagine when you're talking about recognizing concepts, you mean reacting as opposed to thinking on the field.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess when I talk about a concept, like you can have 10 names for a play that has 10 different ways for these 5 players to get in these spots, or you can conceptually think that, like, hey, this is the spots concept, this is the drive concept, this is the a high-low vertical, whatever it is. If they understand that, okay, it's plug and play, like no matter who we have doing those things, it's the same. The quarterback understands it the same. The receivers understand it the same. That makes life a lot easier. And it basically opens up your playbook so that you're not memorizing 50 plays that really are just 5 different ways to do 10 things, or 10 different ways to do 5 things. So, that's one of the things that we're trying to, boil the offense down to.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll do some on the defense because we spent much of the time on the offense, obviously. We're just getting started. The phone number to get in, 877-384-1869. You can tweet us at Rutgers Radio. We'll come back. We'll do some defense. We'll have some special guests as well. We're here until 8 o'clock at the Rutgers Club from Learfield IMG College. This is the Rutgers Football Radio Show.
This season, you can share a Coke with your team on it. So I'm going to tell you how with a little help from this quarterback.
Sally, 44!
You can share a Coke when your team's up.
Red Poncho!
You can share a Coke when your team's down.
Happy Jolly!
You can even share a Coke with your rival on game day.
Chili, chili, chili!
Or you can share a Coke when you're giving out your famous guacamole recipe in a completely packed stadium.
Cilantro, chopped onion, squeeze a lime, Roma tomato, hike!
Share a Coke with a fan this season.
Ice cold, delicious!
Technology is the backbone of every business, but choosing the right technology requires time and resources most IT managers cannot spare. For 30 years, SHI International has helped businesses select, deploy, and manage IT solutions that meet their unique business goals. From end users to the cloud, SHI helps build and maintain some of the world's most complex IT environments. Find out how SHI can help your organization by visiting shi.com. That's shi.com. SHI, innovative solutions, world-class support.
This is the Rutgers Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something. Something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back inside the Rutgers Club, the Rutgers football radio show with head coach Nunzio Campanile. I am in for Chris Carlin. Fuch will join us in a couple of minutes, too. You know, we did a lot, obviously, on the offense. And defensively, it looks 35-0. I get it the last two games for sure. But we started, and we kind of alluded to some plays that the defense did make. And aside from the poor start, there were some things you liked. Highlight a couple of things from the game. When you say you liked it, what exactly are you talking about?
First of all, Damon Hayes played lights out. You know, he's a really talented kid, probably one of the more talented guys on the team. And I've actually enjoyed getting to know him since I've been in this role because he's a very quiet kid. I didn't really get to know him very well, but he's a super talented guy and extremely dedicated to his craft. I mean, the amount of time he puts into, you know, film study and things like that are, you know, he treats it like a pro. I've been very impressed with that. But he went out and created a couple turnovers. I thought he did a great job in coverage. I thought he played, probably the best game I've seen him play in the 2 years I've been here. I was very impressed with him. And then, I just thought that at least we showed some toughness in some tight spots. You know, we gave up a drive off the 1 yard line. They got it down to the 11 or whatever, and we held them out on a fourth down. And we had another time we had stopped them, and we got a pass interference call. But and we continued to compete and play hard, and that's probably one of the biggest things that, when to have success, it's critical to play well in all three phases and to build off each other. And, the offense has kind of hung the defense out to dry a little bit, so, we have to play a little better so that those guys, can kind of feed off a little positivity and momentum, because the last two games has kind of been the same thing. We give up some big plays early in the game, which obviously we need to minimize, we need to limit, and it's kind of the last two games have started the same way with, basically a ball thrown in the flat or a slant and they turn into long touchdowns. But, they've kind of settled down and bowed their backs, and then we haven't really done our part to, to kind of get them, keep them in the game, and we have to do that. We had a couple opportunities at the end of the half. We broke 2 runs, and then, we had a chance at a third one, and it just didn't work out, and we end up giving them, the other team the ball back, and that's a problem. So, but I do feel really strongly about how hard they're playing. Like, Will Prevalon is an excellent player. I thought Olakunle Fatakasi played a phenomenal game. He was all over the place. I mean, really, our linebacker crew in general, I think they played really well. We just kind of gave up some plays in space, and they had some pretty talented receivers that matched up for us. There were some hard matchups.
I would think, one of the biggest jobs for a coach is to keep the team together, and you want to keep them motivated, and you want to keep them into what they're doing. Has it been, in the time that you've taken charge now, any sort of fracturing within the team, or is it still, the guys are still playing hard for one another, whether you're defense, offense, special teams?
No, I try to meet with the leadership council every week, and when I walked in there on Sunday and met with those guys, obviously they're disappointed. I mean, they want the game to go better, but they had a great attitude. They were ready to go to work. They were ready to go to practice and meetings, and make the corrections, and they just keep going forward, which is everything. That's the goal. We keep going forward, and that so that gives us an opportunity to go out and compete the way we need to on Saturday.
Because you look at the league, and we deal with basketball too. You look at the league you're in, and there's no off games. When you play Big Ten teams, one game is harder than the next. I mean, just look at what you're looking at this weekend. Against Minnesota coming in, they haven't lost a game in a year. 8-game winning streak or whatever it is. There's no. And I'm not talking about the non-conference games. There's no, we'll get through this one. I mean, you've got to be at 110% every snap. And it's tough to do.
Yeah, but that's what we signed up for. I mean, our guys get the opportunity to compete in one of the best football leagues in the world. They get to play in, I don't know, the Big Ten East and the SEC West. I don't know if it gets much better than that, So, our guys have an unbelievable opportunity, and, that's the big thing we keep harping on is, all right, like I look at it like, hey, I get to go out and coach football every day. I mean, what's better than that? I get to go out and coach kids that I love being around and, that are dying to get better, and that's kind of the deal that, we're always selling is, hey, let's just go out and keep doing the work. You can't get discouraged because it didn't go well. I mean, that's this is what we signed up for, and I don't think anybody, like I know I personally didn't come and take the job at Rutgers thinking like, all right, we're going to win the national championship next year. But I do believe that that's the goal, right? The goal is to go out and work every day so that each year you get a little bit better and a little bit closer to winning Big Ten championships. I know people say, oh, that sounds ridiculous. It doesn't sound ridiculous to me. To me it sounds like, all right, we're far from that now. But the work we're doing, today in practice or Saturday in the game has to help get us there in the future. And, that's – these guys signed up for the opportunity to play in the best football conference there is. So, I think it's not that hard to get them motivated to stay together and play for that.
But what you just touched on, though, too, it takes time. And I'm not saying it's, it takes 20 years, but this is not an overnight process. It hasn't been, obviously. It hasn't worked out for the previous regimes. We know that. Whoever is doing this is not an overnight job.
Absolutely not. It is, you have to be committed to the long haul. And that doesn't mean that we can't have success sooner rather than later. It just means that, it's going to take a lot of work. Anybody that thinks otherwise is, sorely mistaken. I mean, I've been here for 2 years, and I know what the results are on the field. I mean, I'm acutely aware of it. So I understand that. I don't know if everybody understands that. I think, if they think like, oh, you just, hire a coach and then we'll just win 10 games. It doesn't work that way. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of, it just takes a lot of cooperation by a lot of different people. It takes a lot of things coming together and, talent development and, recruiting and all those things to get us to where we want to be. But the goal should be, the brass ring. The goal should be that, hey, we want to go out and compete for Big Ten championships. But we also have to understand that the only way to do that is to be great at what you do today, to go out and compete and be the best you could be today. So for the coaches, whether that's in preparing our players, recruiting the next kids, whatever that is, that's the fight every day, and that's what you sign up for. That's what our players signed up for. They didn't sign up to, go out and get beat up every Saturday. They signed up to come here and win. So I feel like it's our job to prepare them, to put them in a position to do that.
I'm sure you answered this question 16 times already, but I'm curious, having met you for the first time tonight, what has surprised you about it in the few weeks you've been doing this now, and in totality the 2 years since you've been here? Because it's different now, obviously.
Yes, it's definitely different. I mean, what has surprised me, I guess, like anybody, I maybe thought it'd be a little easier. I thought we were, a little closer, but it doesn't surprise me that it's hard. It doesn't surprise me that, that it's going to be a struggle every week. But, because like I said, that's what we signed up for, but at the same time, like the work hasn't surprised me. I mean, I love it. I mean, I run out of bed every morning, but at the same time, there's frustration in the fact that, okay, we're doing all this work and we're not getting the results. To me, I'm really big on always looking at, all right, what is the reason that we're not getting the results? Evaluating all things. And even when that wasn't my job, I was always doing that. I was always looking at, all right, is this the most efficient way for us to prepare to get to where we want to be? And obviously, if you look at the results, some of those things, have to change in the future, and they will, no matter what. They will change because, as you said, as a new regime comes in, a lot will change, and but we have the players we have, and I'm really proud to coach those guys. I think they work really hard. I think they're really excited about representing Rutgers, and they're going to keep going out every week and competing really hard. And I just hope that our fans can appreciate that. They can appreciate how hard these kids are working, and that that they're dying to get out and win this game on Saturday.
It's amazing. I've known you for a half hour, and the thing that I certainly take from you is that the effort you're getting, you're very pleased with. And which is the most important thing, that the kids are going out and they're working. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not going to change overnight, but, is every kid perfect? No, but there's not a program in the country that has 100-something guys on the team and every kid's perfect. But I do believe that these guys want to win, and they are invested in the future. And, if 100 out of 110 guys are totally bought into what we're doing. That's close. Obviously you want every one of them, but, I'm really proud of our guys. I think that they conduct themselves in a great manner, and there's a ton of great kids on this team. There's a ton of guys that are really committed to building Rutgers football, and, the results will come, whether that's in Saturday or it's in 3 weeks or it's in 3 years. I don't know, but it'll come.
All right, we'll give you a break for a minute. We're going to step aside for a second. We got Fuchs here. He's going to come join us. We got defensive lineman Mike Tverdov is going to join us as well. Phone number to get in, 877-384-1869. Hit us up on Twitter at Rutgers Radio. It is the Coaches Show from Learfield IMG College, the Rutgers Football Radio Show. We are live from the Rutgers Club.
Managing your healthcare can sometimes feel overwhelming. With the new Horizon Blue app from Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, you get the care and support you want right in your hands. Now you can have all of your healthcare coverage details and access to support at your fingertips. Get help scheduling appointments, find doctors and specialists, access your coverage details, get updates on your claims, see easy to understand cost details, and get support straight from the experts at Horizon. You can even see a doctor wherever it's most convenient for you via your smartphone or tablet. Downloading the app is easy and free. Text GET APP to 422-271 today or find it in the App Store or Google Play. There is no charge to download the Horizon Blue app, but rates from your wireless provider may apply. The Horizon Blue app. It's not just an app, it's your direct connection to care.
This is the Rutgers Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Today, millions of people all across America are building a life in recovery from addiction and mental illness, helping themselves
and helping each other, with friends, family, and community lending their strength and support.
Join the Voices for Recovery.
Together, we are stronger.
For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders, for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back inside the Rutgers Club as we are doing the Rutgers Football Radio Show, and we are joined now by Fuchs, who has gotten here. Let's give Fuchs a hand, everybody. Hello, Fuchs is here.
Planes, trains, and automobiles, but I got here.
But you made it here.
Right.
And in between us is defensive lineman Mike Tverdov. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Give him a hand. So, obviously, talking with Coach for the last half hour or so. I'm not going to say how are things going. You have obviously had a nice season. I think the biggest question I have for you, and Coach and I discussed it before you came in, is I guess the mood of the team and how you guys keep your energy up, you keep your confidence up as you're going through what's been a tough season.
That's a great question. Obviously this team has faced a lot of adversity this season, but, the overall morale and mood of the team is really on a positive note. The team's full of a bunch of guys that love and want to play football each and every day, and at the end of the day, you have to look at playing football as an opportunity, especially at the Division I level. There's a lot of kids that would kill to be in our position. You can't take that for granted. So every day you get a chance to put on a helmet, I think is a blessing and just an opportunity to get better overall.
I love your story because you come from a family that obviously your brother Pete came here and was a tremendous addition to Rutgers football and the football program, a guy who worked so hard and got better and better. And then you grew up in that kind of that Rutgers family. And when you decided, out of Union, that you wanted to stay home, I remember your brother, how proud he was and how you want to try to take it to the next level.
Right. It's always been awesome, to be a part of Rutgers football and just watch them grow as a program ever since I was a younger kid. So, having the opportunity to wear the Block R on my chest, is obviously a blessing. Like I said, it's something not a lot of people are able to do. And, you know, I'm not going to stop playing hard until we get where we want to be. You know, that's the end goal at the end of the day, is turn this thing around and get Rutgers back to what it used to be.
What's it like having two coaches? Your coach on D-line, and then your brother is probably coaching you too, right?
Yeah, I mean, Pete doesn't coach me as much as he used to, obviously, because, you know, we have coaches that get paid pretty well to do that. But, you know, he's always giving me tips and things to look after, you know, each and every week. So, you know, I definitely don't shy away from any type of coaching whatsoever.
I love the attitude, because you can tell that you're not taking the time for granted. Like, you saw how fast it went with your brother, and now here you are. And it's just, it seems like you are into the moment, and you're going to cherish every moment. It's hard to do for some, especially when you're going through a tough year like you might be. Some are like, let's get to the end. You seem like you can't wait for Saturday afternoon at 3:40 here at the stadium.
Right. You know, you know, it's just a matter of will. You know, especially at this point. You know, there's been a lot of tough situations these past couple of years, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, you have to put on for your family. You know, you have to find that inner drive that you have, and just use it as motivation to play every weekend. You know, especially if you want to pursue, you know, opportunities after football, you know, whether that be the NFL or doing something else, you know, as a career, you know. So you just have to soak up every moment and just live every day to the fullest.
Mike, give us a sense of what you've done to your body from your freshman year to your sophomore year to get ready, how you're getting stronger.
I'm always getting stronger. You know, the strength staff here, Coach Park and his guys have done a great job developing me and others. You know, my freshman year wasn't easy. You know, I came in and had shoulder surgery right before I even put on a helmet, so that was obviously really heartbreaking and tough to go through. And you know, I worked really hard that whole freshman off season I had, and just, you know, devoted myself to, you know, getting as strong and in the best shape possible. And you know, 2 years in the strength room has obviously, you know, paid off, and I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life right now.
What have you? Fuch brings up a great point about getting physically stronger from the time you start to where you are now. What have you learned since you've been here?
Honestly, just the important factor of taking care of your body. You know, that's something that Coach Parker preaches every week to us. You know, you have to treat your body like a temple, and you know, a lot of guys in their body, you know, they start to break down mid-season, and it's just a matter of, you know, doing the right things, recovery, nutrition-wise, and just taking care of it. You know, because especially if you want to pursue, you know, bowl games and whatnot, you know, your body has to be durable. You have to be able to last and, you know, compete Big Ten competition.
What have you learned as far as the tricks of the trade? I know obviously you love to rush the passer, but you know they're coming after you, you know, in the running game. What are the little tricks that you've learned?
You know, you have to be prepared for everything. You know, the Big Ten is a very complex conference. You know, in my opinion, it's the toughest. Big Ten East is the toughest conference in college football. So there's a lot of dynamic teams out there. We're obviously playing a 6-0 team this weekend. You know, a lot to expect. But you just have to be prepared for everything. You have to study each opponent, break down their offense, you know, their schemes, what they like to do, what they don't like to do, you know, their personnel, stuff like that. You have to take everything into a factor when preparing for an opponent, and just study their tendencies and just, you know, work on those things in practice and obviously in the film room, and, you know, put it all together on game day.
What is leadership like? You know, I think that's a big factor on a team that's trying to build something, as you guys are now. Has that been a strength of this team right now as you're going through what you're going through? Are there guys you look to? Are you that guys look up to?
You know, I always like to consider myself a leader, but, you know, no one's ever too good to take advice from other people. You know, we have a bunch of great guys, you know, guys like Tyshawn Fogg, Will Prevalon, just a couple guys. You know, there's more on offense that, you know, are always looking to hold others accountable and make sure each guy is working to, you know, the best they can each day, you know, because at the end of the day, you have to make sure that everybody on the team is held accountable. You know, nobody's ever too good for the program. You know, that's something we always preach here. You know, you don't ever want to put yourself above the program. So, you know, there's a lot of young guys like Avery Young, you know, being a true sophomore, you know, stepping up, you know, taking in a leadership role. I think if we can get more guys like him, you know, there's no telling what this football team can do.
Give me the emotion and what it means. Many, many years ago when I played in high school, getting to the quarterback, it was like the greatest feeling in the world. Give me that sense. Big Ten, you come in crashing blindside on the quarterback. What is that feeling like?
It's definitely an awesome feeling. You know, it's because you work so hard to get a sack, and I just think it's so rewarding when you actually get one. You know, I'd say it's the best feeling in the world, and the worst feeling in the world is missing a sack. So, you know, there's definitely two to that side, but you know, a lot of work goes into it. You know, you can win 19 rushes in the game and only get a sack on that one rush. You know, so it's just a matter of, you know, consistency and continuing to develop your craft, your toolbox, you know, perfecting your mechanics, and just playing hard at the end of the day.
It is something too, because I mean you're 100% on every snap, and you are fighting sometimes a double team and even as a single guy on the outside. And I've got a thing too. You see it in the NFL where a guy will bust through the line, and he's got the quarterback right in his sights, and he just whiffs on him. And those are opportunities you don't get back. Like that's it right there. I mean, you gotta probably see that in your sleep when you miss on those things.
Yeah, it definitely hurts. You always want to make plays. You never want to leave plays out there for, obviously you want other guys to eat and, make plays themselves, but, you can't leave plays out there that you're supposed to make. So it's just a matter of correcting the things you did wrong, working on them, and making sure you get them the next time.
You've said a couple of times, the best conference in the country, and I completely agree with you, and there's never an off week when you play these teams. Has there been, you don't have to tell me the team, but has there been a team since you've been here where you start to watch the film and you start to prep for the game, you're like, geez, look at these guys. Like, that you've got task at hand, especially probably early on in your career, in the first year.
Right. Definitely going back to my freshman year last year, being the first season that I actually played, it was definitely hard at first, You go playing my second college football game ever in Columbus, Ohio. That's obviously a big jump from playing a team like Texas State. So it's definitely a difficult adjustment. But I feel way better my second year playing this year. I know what to expect from those teams. I've gone up against the biggest, strongest guys. So there's nothing I haven't seen before. No tricks I haven't seen before. But it's just a matter of, like I said, preparation. Stepping up to the task. Because at the end of the day, we're on scholarship too. We're in the Big Ten also, so you just have to bring that fighting edge to every game you play in.
What's that chemistry like with your fellow D linemen? I mean, this week we saw a number of times short yardage situations where you guys were able to rise to the occasion. What's that like with Turner and Prevlon and you guys facing that situation when it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and they're going for it?
Oh, it's awesome. There's a lot of chemistry in our D-line room. Guys are always having each other's backs no matter what, especially on the football field. I think we do a great job holding each other accountable and just pushing each other, especially the days where our bodies are hurting. We don't maybe not want to practice, but we know we have to in order to get better. And when those situations come up in the game where we have to get a stop, we're like, all right, guys, it's on us right now. We have to hold the line, and we've done that a few times this year, and hopefully we can keep doing that.
And I know you put in a big hole early on Saturday, and yet you guys battled straight through the end. There's got to be some sort of solace you take in that as a group, that you did your job. And Coach even talked about how you guys as a complete unit, all 100 whatever guys are on the roster, offense, defense, special teams, it seems like you all are together in this, even if one side's not doing their job at the specific moment as they're kind of growing and getting familiar with what they're doing. Is it difficult though when you get into situations, you're human, you see the scoreboard, is it hard to kind of keep that focus in those spots and do your job?
It's definitely difficult, because sometimes, the scoreboard doesn't always match the stat sheet. You go looking back at a game like Maryland, I think we had 5 or 6 3-and-outs. It's definitely tough, as a defense to see that, but at the end of the day, we're in this together, like you said. It's not a one guy, one group, one player, one coach. We're all in this together. We have to work together to get better and focus on what we did wrong and hopefully improve those things and, just look on to the next game.
Mike, being a young player still, but you still got some experience. How do you lead the young guys now? What do you tell the young guys who are watching you as a role model out there?
At the end of the day, because when I was younger, I always try to oversimplify everything, and I try to tell guys like Jeremy Croma and Robin Gretton to just play football at the end of the day. If you play football, the rest will come with it. Don't think too much. Just go out there, play 110 miles an hour, play with your heart, and plays will come to you. Because the more you think about it, the worst position you're going to be in. So if you just play football, let God take control of things and just let everything flow, there's going to be a lot of positivity coming.
Where do you get that from? Because you play fast all the time. Where does that come from?
I don't know. I've always had a strong work ethic ever since I've been younger. I come from a hardworking family. That's something my family's always preached to me is, talent's God-given, but you have to choose to work hard. So, and at the end of the day, I'm playing college football. Like I said, I want to have opportunities in the NFL one day, and I know, hustle and doing things that other people aren't are going to give guys a second look at me.
Rutgers defensive lineman Mike Tverdov with us. A couple more for you. Minnesota this week. You've got homecoming here at the stadium. This team is on a pretty good roll. What do you see when you look at them on film as you prepare for this team? Obviously, they got a 3-headed monster. Tough chore. What do you have to do to be successful?
They're a very dynamic offense. They have a lot of big bodies up front, but I think we can match up pretty well. We have a lot of speed on defense, a lot of hard hitters. I think we have a lot of good gap integrity, come down the line, make plays. I think we're going to be really good on defense, really stout. But at the end of the day, they don't make a lot of mistakes. They're 6-0 for a reason. They have a great head coach. Very, very, very strong running game. They do a lot of different things up front. So, I think if we keep practicing the way we are, we're going to be prepared come Saturday.
How do you look at the opportunity? Homecoming, playing a team that's undefeated, coming into, your stadium. How do you look at that opportunity?
It's just it's another day to play football. We've trained extremely hard for these moments, these opportunities. That's another day to go out, make plays, put on for the state, put on for the people watching us, and ultimately do it for us because we've been working so hard. There's so many hardworking kids on this football team. I don't want that to be I don't want that to be something that people don't realize. Every kid on this team is working hard. Losing isn't easy for anyone, but the way we're able to bounce back and go on to the next week and just play 100 miles an hour every game is truly remarkable.
What do you think it would do? And whatever, offensive, defensive, special teams, if you could jump out to a lead in a game like this, what would it do to the sideline? You live it every week. And what kind of a lift could that give you guys if you could figure out a way to put points on the board early?
That would give us a huge lift. You always want momentum in a football game, especially early on in the game. If you could hold that edge, hold that type of leverage, it could set up great opportunities because then the offense of the opposing team starts to, get a little panicked, and that creates opportunities for the defense to get after them. So we always want to get up in the game, get stops, get turnovers, and give the offense a chance to go down and score. So if we can do that, I think we're going to have a great game on Saturday.
You mentioned turnovers. You got a couple. They say they come in bunches. Are you hopeful now that you're able to force a couple more turnovers this week?
Absolutely. Turnovers do come in bunches, just like sacks, TFLs, all those. You can't think about getting those going into a game. You can't set a number for yourself, or you just have to play hard, play and do what your coach should do every game, and those things will happen. But definitely, you look at the game like Indiana. I think we had 2 or 3 turnovers. The game before, I don't know if we had any. So it's just a matter of playing hard and doing what we're coached to do, and just counting on each other.
I got to tell you, man, I find a team that's got 100 guys with your attitude on it. I'm going to find a winning program for sure. It's been a pleasure. Good luck on Saturday. Go get them and keep the attitude up, because the one thing that I'm getting from you and from Coach is that the attitude inside this locker room is still very positive. You guys are still working hard, and it's the only way it's going to change. So good luck with all that, and go get them Saturday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That is Rutgers defensive lineman Mike Tverdov. We appreciate a couple of minutes from him. The phone number to get in, 877-384-1869. We'll get the coach back in here. Fooch will hang out as well from Learfield IMG College. This is the Rutgers Football Radio Show.
It's after hours. You're stuck at work. You're feeling lousy. There are those times when you need to see a doctor, but you just can't get there. So what do? Where do you go? You go to the RWJ Barnabas Health Telemed app, and you get to see the doctor right away. Whenever you want, wherever you are, on whatever device you choose. It's that simple and that convenient. No appointment necessary for access to doctors who all meet our high standards. In fact, you can even see physician profiles and read about doctors who fit your needs and match your symptoms. But most importantly, you get a diagnosis when you need it, where you want it, 24/7. Download Telemed from RWJ Barnabas Health at the App Store, or visit rwjbh.org/telemed. Now you can see the doctor, even when you can't go to the doctor. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
This is the Rutgers Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
We depend on our drinking water supply daily, but where does that water come from? Your water provider encourages you to get to know your local water source so together we can protect and preserve it. The investments we make as a community to protect our water source now ensure we have a sustainable drinking water supply for the future. Visit drinktap.org to learn more. This message is brought to you by the American Water Works Association and your local water provider.
All right, welcome back inside the Rutgers football radio show from the Rutgers Club with head coach Nunzio Campanile. And look who we found. Fooch is here.
You know, anytime I have a chance to sit with Nuns, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get here, even if it means renting a pickup truck after getting a flat tire. Right.
He shows up late. No meatballs, no super sod, no Brazil, nothing. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I was hoping you brought it, no?
Well, you did.
I was actually working today.
Oh, that's true.
We do appreciate. I do enjoy the fact that you got a flat tire on one of the worst weather days that we might have had in 6 months.
You know what? Like I said, if any time I can share this table with Nuns, it's the place to be. In fact, you know, a big fan of yours, Mike Quick, who does our high school show. You know, always says to me, one of my favorite all-time people to be around. And I said, you know, I'm starting to figure that out. I didn't know you as well as he did, but I'm starting to figure that out.
I tell you, I didn't know too the relationship with Coach Goodall. I saw that story yesterday as well. Going back, coach wrestling. I didn't know that either, which is really neat. So like you looked up to him at some point.
Well, I was a high school wrestling coach for a long time, and he was like the Pope of New Jersey wrestling. So I mean, they were an absolute powerhouse, and we were building a team. And then, you know, just looking at what he did, really to me has always been incredibly impressive. You know, he took that program and over the last 13 years has really built it into an absolute powerhouse. And, you know, I think there's a lot to be learned from what he's done for Rutgers. You know, I mean, how long it's taken him to get it to the point where it's now competitive at the top of you know, they're competing at the top of college wrestling, which was really special. And, you know, he's done it with local kids. He's done it with, you know, coaches that have roots in New Jersey. He's done it with a lot of really good people. And he's really always done it the right way. He's represented, you know, Rutgers in New Jersey the right way. So I've always admired him a lot. I think that he does a great job, and, you know, he's a great guy.
So let me get this straight. You coached wrestling, and you were drawing plays, you know, since you're like 5 years old, X's and O's, offensive mind. How did you become an offensive wrestling type attitude in wrestling?
So first of all, it was far and away my best sport, wrestling. I was a better wrestler than I ever dreamed of being a football player. Yeah, no doubt. I just too many injuries in high school, and I had no desire to do it in college. I wanted to play football. But how I ended up a coach, it was really by accident. I got a job at Paramus Catholic when I was 22, and the wrestling coach quit, and I was the only guy in the building that knew anything about wrestling, so they gave me the job. And then I went to Don Bosco, and they offered me the job, and I said, you know, no, I just want to coach football. And then they hired a guy that was a good friend to Coach Tolles, became a really good friend of mine, Tim Doherty. He did it for 3 years, and I helped him out, and then he left. And actually, I thought I was coming to Rutgers to be a grad assistant for Coach Shiano, and it, you know, whatever reason, it didn't work out. And I ended up, you know, so I was like, well, I'm going to be here. I guess I'll take the job. And we ended up doing really well. We won a couple sectional titles, a state championship, and it was a lot of fun. It was actually my favorite job I've ever had. You know, it was a ton of fun. I don't know anything about wrestling. I mean, I know about being tough and working hard, and I hired some great assistants and basically got some great kids, and, you know, we had a lot of fun.
There you go.
It's true, too, as a coach. No matter what you do, you have to have the right staff in place. I mean, you can't be the only voice. And in some cases, if you're the only voice, it's a complete mess if you're not letting the other guys do what they have to do.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, too many people put way too much time into you need, you know, it's kind of like it takes a village to raise a man. It takes a lot to make a great football team. And, you know, it's at this level, it's, you know, not just the assistant coaches, but the graduate assistants, the support staff. I mean, just, you know, the nutritionists, the wait staff, the whole thing. I mean, it's really an amazing undertaking.
You have obviously hit the ground running. Have you gotten any sleep? I mean, does it? I mean, I'm sure it's around the clock now for you trying to get this football team better.
Yeah, I mean, has not been a lot of sleep, especially last Saturday. That was rough. I mean, to be honest, that was, you know, I might have slept about 20 minutes. But you know, the truth is that that's the way it probably is for every football coach, and it's probably changed for me a lot in the last 3 weeks. But still, you know, you're always, you know, your mind's always racing during the season. It's pretty, you know, it's pretty all-encompassing and time-consuming, but, you know, that's what we signed up for.
You get off the plane from Indiana. I mean, how fast are you on to Minnesota? I mean, is it immediate? Do you get any time at home, or do you go right to the film and you're on the practice field Sunday?
Well, I was actually really fortunate. We watched the film on the plane, which is good, you know, and then we'll watch it again on Sunday as a staff. So I was fortunate to literally, I got in the parking lot of the Hale, jumped in my car, and drove to my son's game. And, you know, I have a 7-year-old and a 13-year-old. So the 13-year-old Michael had a game. I got there in time for it to start, which is, you know, probably the most important 2 hours of my week. And then, you know, he played really well. They lost a tough game, and then, you know, then it's you get up in the morning. It's time to go back to work.
How was the practice today? Obviously, with the rain and everything, how did that affect, you know, what you wanted to do by going inside?
It's not a huge impact. We're able to get good work in today. The guys worked really hard. I mean, obviously there's a couple things that make it a little easier when you got multiple practice fields, but we made the most of the space, and the guys worked really hard. And like I said, I've been really impressed with their attitude and their effort. I actually think this week their attitude has been probably even better than last week, which says a lot because it's coming off a pretty disappointing loss, and the guys are just. They were kind of recognizing, like, hey, let's just go out and play football and have fun, and hopefully we can cut it loose and we'll play a little better.
Well, is that part of that attitude, though, kind of what we talked about earlier? The score was what it was, but at least you're able to point out the positives from the game and some of the stands that the defense made and some of the, the special teams plays. At least there's something you're looking at that you can grasp at.
Yeah, and there's always something, but. For the offensive guys, I mean, they're really. I mean, right. If you put up on the board on Sunday, what were the positives? I mean, I couldn't really find one. So, but still, we got to go out and play a game. And so their attitude in practice, I thought it was actually remarkable. And the defensive guys, staying together as a team, that's been remarkable. So I think those two things are things that I'm really proud of from our guys. They just are learning and growing and saying, hey, you know what, we got to have each other's back, and they've kind of adopted this, we all we need thing, which is pretty neat, to kind of rally around each other and say, hey, we're going to stick together no matter what.
You have said, and I've heard you say, the thing that hurts the most is you have some great kids who work hard, and you just want to have them have success, and that's just part of being a coach. But when you have great kids, it's something that you appreciate.
Undoubtedly, when you see the sacrifice that they're putting in and day out, basically, like I've been with them almost 700 days. So, to watch it over that amount of time and to see the level of disappointment from the results, and, it is what it is. The results matter, and they do. It matter to everybody. It matter to the fans, it matter to the players, the coaches, everybody. And they should. But when you see how hard they work, you want them to get paid for their work. You want them to go out and experience what that means to go out and win games together. And that's why, hopefully you just stay together and find a way to win. I mean, it'd be an unbelievable day, and at Rutgers, if we go out and say, hey, coming off last week, go out and find a way to win this game on Saturday, because then you say, hey, all the stuff they're talking about every day starts to pay off. And, I feel like 100% the preparation is heading that way. Obviously they got a great football team. They're really well coached, and, they're doing things the right way. So that's not going to be an easy task.
All right, we'll take a break. On the other side, we'll wrap up previewing Minnesota, which is coming up on Saturday, which is homecoming. But before we take a break, an evening with Eric LeGrand, October 28th. So that's coming up pretty soon. What's today? The 16th. So in about 12 days or so. Chris Carlin, Master of Ceremonies, so he will handle everything. Go to give.reeve.org/new roads. An evening with Eric LeGrand coming up on October 28th. Fundraiser for Team LeGrand, Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. 877-384-1869. Quick break from Learfield IMG College. This is the Rutgers Football Radio Show from the Rutgers Club.
Your bank records are secure. Your first grader can write code. Your package is being delivered, and your driver is 1 minute away. As technology enhances our everyday lives, SHI International ensures the schools and businesses developing new technologies have the tools and expertise they need to compete and win in the ever-changing global marketplace. Find out how SHI supports the business and technical needs of more than 20,000 of the world's most complex IT organizations by visiting SHI.com. That's SHI.com. SHI, innovative solutions, world-class support.
Cold? Cough? Flu symptoms? Sounds like you should see a doctor. So where do you go? You go to the RWJ Barnabas Health Telemed app, and you get to see the doctor right away, whenever you want, on whatever device you choose. It's that simple and that convenient. No appointment necessary. Download Telemed from RWJ Barnabas Health at the App Store, or visit rwjbh.org/telemed. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
This is the Rutgers Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Millions plan for retirement online. Estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to do what you want offline. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense. Hi, it's Olivia Munn with my shelter pets, Frankie and Chance. Say hi, guys. When I adopted them, I discovered that they both have incredible personalities. Chance's sole purpose in life is to love and to be loved. Frankie is a little bit of a scoundrel and always entertaining. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the Humane Society of the United States, and Maddie's Fund.
All right, welcome back inside the Rutgers Club. Final segment of the Rutgers football radio show. Head coach Nunzio, Campanile, and Fooch with us too. Yes.
How about these people coming out here tonight?
Awesome.
I mean, you know what? Does that say something? The dedication.
It's like a monsoon out there. So thank you very much, everybody, for making the trip out. We do appreciate it. Homecoming Saturday, Coach. You've got Minnesota coming in. They've been on quite the roll all season, ranked 20th in the country now. They're good. So what exactly do you do to keep them at bay and give yourself a chance?
All right, listen, I think you got to just go out and play football. You got to go out and do your job. I mean, obviously, you got to play a clean game. You can't turn the football over. We've got to create some turnovers. We got to make some plays in the special teams. We got to play to win. And, again, it's still going to stay some of those things. We have to stay ahead of the chains on offense. We got to give ourselves a chance by, staying on schedule. But I think that our guys are getting better at the stuff that we're doing every week, so that's a good thing. But most importantly, we have to limit the big plays when we're on defense. That's going to be key. We got to stay in the game. We got to be able to apply pressure on the other team the whole game. I mean, when we played Maryland, we were at a 7-7 deadlock, and then all of a sudden it got out of hand really fast. We can't allow that to happen. The other day, we blinked, and it was literally 5 minutes into the game. We were down 21-0. We're not really built to play that way. So we need to make sure that we stay in the game, create some turnovers, and do some things on some short fields, and get the ball in the end zone.
Well, one thing, Coach, if you can avoid some of those turnovers, and if your defense can get the stops, you have a punter who's going to put them in the corner there, down on the 5-yard line consistently, and that's a weapon there that you guys might be able to utilize and take advantage of.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. I mean, he really is.
Adam Korsak.
Yeah, I honestly, in the game the other day, we were in kind of weird spot on the field, the 4th and long from like the 37, and afterwards I'm like, well, why wouldn't you punt the ball? I mean, it's kind of not, it's a terrible spot to punt from, but 4th and long, you're like, I look back and I'm like, boy, he would have pinned him on a 1-yard line. He does it from everywhere. It's unreal. So I've never seen anything like it. So I mean, I hate to punt more than anybody, but when you see him,
have
you're
a
like,
weapon
God,
like
the best player on the team.
And you have a weapon like that, you might be able to utilize.
47.3 per kick. That's impressive.
But he doesn't just do that. He's unbelievable.
Where he places
his placement. He's a rugby punter that can punt in every direction. So he's so hard to get a return on, and he's a really good athlete. So it's really hard to come after him because he'll make plays with his feet.
All right, we only have about a minute left. I guess just in closing, what you're looking for offensively this week. You talk about getting turnovers defensively. We got that. Is it sustaining drives? Is it the biggest thing you want to see this week and get the passing game going?
Honestly, it's starting drives, because when we start drives, we'll have success. We have to get moving. We have to get moving on first down, and we have to create some explosive plays. We're not going to be built to drive 15-play drives. That's just not the way, we can't just manhandle the other team. So we've got to be able to make some plays. And when the defense gives us short fields, which they did twice last week, we have to take advantage of them. And, whether that's shots down the field or it's just, all right, hey, we're here and we got to change the field real quick.
How is Johnny progressing this week?
I think he's doing great. I think he feels a little more comfortable every week, and I think that's just a progression of any young quarterback.
Coach, appreciate the time as always. Good luck on Saturday. Homecoming at Rutgers. You take on number 20 Minnesota. Really appreciate it. Good luck.
Thanks, Jerry.
Of course, thanks to Paul Schrager, John Essick back in the shop. We got Colin Fooch for getting out here as well in this weather, and for you guys for coming out in this horrendous weather night. Really do appreciate it. Rutgers against number 20 Minnesota. Be there, 3:40 kickoff. Thanks to the Rutgers Club. Adios.
Thank you for listening to the Rutgers Football Show. Join us throughout the season from the Rutgers Club to talk Scarlet Knights football. Tonight's show has been brought to you by The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation of the Rutgers Sports Network.